Here are some breaking news today that from the U.S. Department of State, which is from a office of spokesperson, which also from a secretary, the U.S. Department of State, Marcus Rubio, which saying on his press release that which the U.S. Department of State, which Secretary Marcus Rubio will revoke green cards for a foreign national with ties to a Iranian terror regime, which saying on the U.S. Department of State press release saying that last night the niece and grandniece of a diseased Islamic Revolution Guard Corps, or we call a IRGC, which the Major General Quantum Somani, which also were arrested by fellow agent, which following a Secretary of State Marco Rubio with a termination of their lawful permanent resident, no, we call a green card status. Another person that also got arrested and now in custody, Alamde Somani Alsar and her daughter are now in the custody of the U.S. Immigration Customs Border Enforcement ICE. By the way, also identified by both press reporting and her own social media commentary. Also, Somani Alfar is an unspoken supporter for the tolerant terrorist regime in Iran. And also, while living in the United States, she also promoted a Iran regime propaganda, which also celebrated attacks against American soldiers and military facility in the Middle East. Also praised the new Iran supreme leader, which also denounced America as the great Satan, by the way, voiced unflinching support for a Islamic revolution, I would say, for the IRGC Corps as well, I would say, as a designated terror organization, which also Al-Sar pushed this propaganda for a Iran's terrorist regime, and also while enjoying, I would say, lavish life, which are in Los Angeles. Also, as access to a horrific posting on her recently Instagram. Currently, her recently post and also her Instagram was being deleted by the Instagram. And also, in addition to a determination of a Somali Alfar and her daughter, also their green card status, Alfar's husband also has been barred from entering to the U.S. And also this month, which I would say the Secretary Rubio also terminated the status of a Falcon Al-Shar Lajani, which also a former secretary of a Supreme National Security Council of Iran, Al-Awlani, and her husband, which also named Syed Kalana Monbani. And both these peoples, I would say, are no longer in the United States, also being banned from a future entry for coming to the United States as well. And also, the U.S. Department of State also extend these appreciation to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and also a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE, which also for their continued partnership and collaboration in keeping Americans safe as well. And lastly, according to the press release from the U.S. Department of State, saying that the administration will not allow our country to become a home for foreign nationals who support anti-American for terrorist regimes as well. These press releases are from a U.S. Department of State on a office of the spokesperson as well. And that's it for the news today.